for some nerd power. It's the Falcon Paladin Hour, a podcast by Falcon, Paladin, and Somicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie, talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
All right, and we're live.
Yay! Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
Nailed it.
indeed. Excellent.
Yes, we're back again, live once again.
Yeah. On twitch.tv/Somicron. A little bit late because I was finishing up the Halo novel Glasslands.
It only
It was
took
a
you
little bit, a little bit longer than I expected it to be.
by
Yes.
like 2 weeks.
That is correct. It's 400 and it's 500 pages.
Is it?
It's a 500-page book.
I don't think
According to the Halopedia article about it.
I don't think it was 500 when I read it.
It might have been 464 because that's the original page count. But then they added 30 pages in the 2019 version. I don't know what that's all about.
My one was 414 pages, and the last 15 of them are just like, hey, buy our Halo merch and check out the other books and the thank yous. So it's less than 400 pages.
So maybe the Australia version is written in a slightly smaller font, so it's in fewer pages.
I mean, technically possible.
A tenth of a point shorter. I don't know.
Although I will say, for some reason, some unknowable reason, the Google Play books,
That's where I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I got it in the same place, so it should be the same thing. But for whatever reason, it's permanently stuck in dark mode now.
Haha. I like dark mode. I'm not going to complain about it. But, yep.
Yeah, I know you're not going to complain, but I don't like to read like that.
Right.
And
so
I can turn it off, but by doing so, I have to turn dark mode off in my system settings on my phone. Which means...
Oh, so it's the system settings that are like, everything is dark mode.
Right, but I don't know why it suddenly decided to start applying to the book. And the setting, like Google, the book app has its own settings for that, and dark mode is unchecked. Which is weird, because its settings aren't in dark mode either, right? Like its system settings keeps it light mode, even though the phone system setting says everything is dark mode, which makes the book dark mode, even though the system settings for the book app is not dark mode.
Yeah, I got nothing then.
Yeah.
I had some answers, but they're gone now. Okay, so I just checked. Yeah, mine is 400, and I'm on page 407. And then after that, it's just acknowledgments and advertising and about the author and stuff.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, Halopedia, you are wrong. Anyway, man, that was some good writing there, and I was expecting that. So the fact that I still think it's good writing, I think, is a good indication of how good the writing was, right?
Okay.
So I went into it with high expectations, and it met my expectations, and yeah, so it was good.
All right. Excellent.
Not as action-packed as Ghosts of Onyx or Ghost of Onyx, right? Not as many firefights, not as much running around and shooting things and stuff like that.
Definitely not. It's much more about the intrigue that's going on, right?
It is for sure.
Oh my god! Did my neighbors decide now's the time to mow their goddamn lawns?
Is that a lawnmower? That's a really high-pitched, whiny lawnmower.
It could be a whippersnapper.
Yeah.
God damn it.
It's fine. We can roll with it.
Yeah, gonna have to.
I can hear you okay.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the book is about, Hazley's past.
Holsley.
And sorry, I always mispronounce it. Holsley.
Actually,
the American pronunciation, I'm doing it the American way.
No.
You can call her Holsley if you want.
No. See, if this was just a name in a book, right, I would let it slide because there would be no criticism. She's appeared in games. People have said her name, and it's all made by Americans, right?
Yeah, that's true. Fine, Dr. Holsley.
There we go. If you want, just call her Kate.
I don't think I'm going to do that. No. Hey,
to you.
what's up, Kai in chat? Yes, what Dr. Halsey has done, and everyone learning about it, and then her coming to terms with it, and everybody else coming to terms with it, and what happens to her.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's the thing. I already knew the whole thing about them stealing kids away and then cloning them and sending the clones back to their parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is this where it was originally revealed? Does this
No.
not... We don't know about this until now?
No.
Okay, because they definitely treated it like a, hey, reader, check this out. And I was like, but I already know this.
It's
This is not hitting me quite as emotionally strong as you guys are going for.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, but it could be someone's first time.
Yes.
It could be.
Yeah. No, but that was the intent, right? If you're reading the novels and playing the games and the book comes out and you read it right when it comes out, this is the first time it's ever mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No?
Wait, no, hold on. I missed that question.
So I can't remember what they talked about in Ghost of Onyx about how they did the Spartan ones or Spartan twos.
Mm-hmm. The problem with Ghosts of Onyx is there's a lot of talk, like at Onyx, which then carries over immediately in Glasslands, and remembering which one was in which book is pointless.
Okay, I remember them talking quite a bit about.
So the book Full of Reach definitely covers the child abductment and cloning, right?
Okay, all right. So it's this. So Glassland is not the first time that they've ever done that.
No, that wasn't a retcon or anything like that. No.
Well, not a retcon. No, I couldn't remember if they'd ever gone into specifics about how that worked. Not that they were hiding it, just they never really talked about it.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, cool. So that's a lot of the book. Like a lot of the book is you kidnap children and send back horribly diseased, soon-to-be dead clones of the children to their parents. So here's something too. So there's 6 when they do this, right? The kids are 6.
5 or 6, around that age.
And they send back these clones. Do the clones have all the memories of the original child?
Some.
Because if they don't, there's no way in hell this would make any sense at all.
So okay.
Because it's not like infants. Yes, give me an infant that looks just like mine. Sure, it's my baby.
It's a potato.
6-year-old who doesn't know anything that my 6-year-old knew. No, not my child.
Okay, so the answer is they have most of their memories. Yeah, right.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
so it's not just genetically cloned like you're cloning a sheep or something.
No,
it's deeper than that.
It's definitely deeper than that. So I'm a third of the way through the final book in the Kilo 5 trilogy.
Okay.
Mortal Didacta or Dictata. I can't remember how that word's pronounced. And it focuses a lot on Naomi and her experiences as a 6-year-old being kidnapped.
Oh,
and then it cuts to the clone. And the clone is like, hey, thanks. I'd like to go to the bathroom now. And she stands up in her house and doesn't know which way to the bathroom is, but clearly recognize who her dad and mom is and stuff.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, and then the whole point about Naomi's father being like, this is not my kid.
Yeah.
It looks like my kid. It's not my kid. This is some crazy government conspiracy. And everyone's like, you crazy old coot.
Yeah, he's like, they mention it in the books. He's the 1 in a billion conspiracy theorist who's actually got it right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they lose track of him. They assume he gets glassed in a Covenant attack. After his wife commits suicide, by the way, which...
Yes.
And she demands to be sterilized because she doesn't want her future children to have the same genetic abnormality that her cloned child... I mean, it really puts a pretty human face on the whole thing. Because, I knew what they did, and I was like, that's terrible. But for them to be like, and then her mother committed suicide, and her father went nuts, and then they died at a Covenant attack. And I was like, oh. Oh, this was much worse than I thought.
Yeah.
And then the stinger at the end where they're like, hey, remember how we told you her dad died in a Covenant attack? Just kidding. He's fine. Well... he's alive. I don't know that he's fine necessarily.
He's still alive. And guess where he's hanging out? The terrorist homeworld.
Yeah, with all the terrorists, which makes perfect sense. He blames the government for the destruction of his entire family.
It's true, yeah.
So that's how you make terrorists. Yeah. So it ends in a total cliffhanger. I was like, wow. I mean, I knew it was a trilogy. I I didn't necessarily expect it to be like, here's some interesting plot threads that we're not going to resolve in this book by the next one, you know?
Mm-hmm. I feel
And I
like
guess Ghost of Onyx did the same thing. Ghost of Onyx is like, hey, all the Spartans are trapped in some kind of a Dyson sphere. The end. It's like, but that's not how it's supposed to end.
right. I feel like this
Yeah.
book sets up lots of threads, which I know they don't finish because they're setting up for the Halo 4 game, right? But having played
Yeah.
the Halo 4 game, I feel like they don't adequately address them there either.
Oh, garbage.
Yeah.
Oh no. So there's stuff that like I'm interested in finding out more about and they just don't bother to go back to it?
I mean, maybe. Depends on what
Hmm.
you're interested in.
Yeah.
The
The
Dysons?
Infinity, is it called Infinity?
Yeah, UNSC Infinity, yeah.
Like they're like, we have cobbled together whatever Forerunner technology we could find, and we made a spaceship. It's like, this sounds kind of MacGyver-y, you guys.
It
Did
is
you
a little
also use a lot of chewing gum and like paper clips?
maybe.
Okay.
And there's probably paper clips on board. I don't know about chewing gum. I don't know if they're regulation. But the Infinity is an interesting thing because they really focus Halo 4 around it. And there's actually 2 campaigns with Halo 4. There's the main campaign with the Master Chief, but then there's Spartan Ops, which was like an episodic, like released story where you get missions and a campaign going around with one of the Spartan 4 teams. And it's all centered around the Infinity, which, ooh la la, the Infinity. It's a nearly 6-kilometer long ship. And then I'm just thinking, but hold on, in Reach, we destroyed the Long Night of Solace. That was a Covenant cruiser that was like 28 kilometers. It's huge. It's like 10, it's like 5 times the size. Why is 6 kilometers so impressive for the Infinity? I get that that's like twice as long than any other human ship, other than space stations, but I don't know. It feels like they were trying to make it impressive, and they were just like, well, we forgot this one ship existed this one time.
And 6 kilometers is a lot of kilometers, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of disappointing. I mean, I don't know. I don't need it to be huge as long as it's cool.
I mean, yeah, it is cool. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some interesting bits of like trivia around it. Like it's no, I'm getting confused with another Covenant ship. Never mind. Its energy shields can take an impact from a small moon, right? Like it could drive into a moon and be fine. But that's not
pretty cool.
That's not the Infinity, unfortunately. Maybe it could do it. I don't know. In one of the Spartan Ops cutscenes, you can see it crash straight through a Covenant ship when it comes out of slip space. So that's cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it does do some
Dangerous.
cool stuff. I'm not bagging out the ship.
Yeah. Just they try to make it sound impressively big, and it's not. I get it.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. I mean, this book takes a lot of the things that were in Onyx and obviously in Fall of Reach and just kind of personalizes a lot of it and makes character progression and stuff. Like the whole Lucy arc is really good in Glasslands. It's like prior to that, it's like she's mute. That's all.
Yeah.
The end. We're not really going to explore it at all.
Yeah.
And then in Glasslands, they're like, we're going to explore it to death.
yeah.
We're going to spend so much time on this.
I hope. Okay, that's one of the threads they just never accurately resolve either. It's like,
What?
oh, the Hura got her to speak. Well, like you've seen her speak, yeah?
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. That's her last appearance in the books. Like she's done.
No! Isn't the next book in the trilogy written by the same author?
Yeah, the next 2 are.
What did she... Karen! What happens to Lucy? She doesn't die or anything. They just never come back to her.
Yeah, they're just like, okay, she punched out Halsey, and then Kilo 5
cool.
arrests her, and then you don't need to know about the Spartan 3s anymore. That's their entire story ends.
All of the Spartan 3s?
None of them are in the next book.
Oh my gosh. But I spent so much time with them. They're great.
They go.
Holy. So they just do Spartan 4 stuff and like...
No, they don't even cover the Spartan 4s yet. They mention them briefly, right? Like as a program.
Yeah.
And
well, that was a big thing. Okay. All right.
All right, like...
Fine.
Yeah, that's... Sorry.
Well, they make the whole big thing in Glasslands about how, like, we're not going to grab children anymore. We're going to take adult recruits and we'll make them awesome. That's what the Spartan Fords are going to be.
Right.
It's like, awesome. And then they never talk about it again. Cool.
Well, I mean, it's all setting up for Halo 4, right?
Yeah.
Because in Halo 4, you fight alongside the Spartan 4s.
All right.
Yeah. And then you play as them, and their stupid armor configurations. I don't like that.
I look forward to that.
It's going to be great.
I mean, so does John show up in
these books? No. In the
Oh.
timeline, he's frozen after the destruction of the Ark in Halo 3.
Yeah, I know, and they're all mourning him as dead. I know. And then he comes back through magic.
Sort of. He wakes up at a place where Halo 4 takes place. I don't want to I'm starting to spoil the next book and Halo 4 if I start talking about Hilik.
Yeah, no, I get it. But you're saying he's never in the books. They just refer to him.
Yeah, they just refer to him. There are books where he's in, right? Like Operation First Strike, which actually the book's just called Halo First Strike. He's in that, and that's set between 1 and 2, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just not in this particular
Arc.
series of storyline stuff. Yeah.
No.
All right. All right. That's cool. Fair enough. Then there's the whole storyline of the Arbiter and Admiral Hood trying to make peace between the humans and the Sankili. And the Arbiter's all cool and stuff. And they're like, hey, Arbiter, you should come to Earth for the whole memorial for those fallen in the war, and you can pay respects to Master Chief and stuff.
And then they make note that Hood didn't invite any of the leaders from the army for some reason for that memorial service. I don't remember why they make note of that, but they just do.
Yeah.
It's feels random if it's going to have zero consequences moving forward. But okay, thank you for telling me that Hood, for some reason, just cold-shouldered the army.
Right. I mean, he's an admiral. He's cold-shouldering his own dudes.
No, well, he's an admiral in the Navy.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
But sure. Army, Navy. Military.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I like they were in Australia at the beginning. Thought you might appreciate that.
Yeah, probably.
On Australia Day.
True fact. On Australia Day.
Some dude hangs Australian flag and it's all emotional and stuff.
Yeah, everyone starts cheering and clapping.
Yeah. That was great. I did, again, just so much more detail and humanization of the story. They're the ODSTs are walking around and they're kind of expected, I don't know, maybe after the war was over, people would be cheering and dancing in the streets and making out and stuff, but they're still kind of worried it's going to come back, which number one is a fair concern because there's no official treaty or anything.
Right. They're well, the fighting stopped, but the war's not over, right?
Yeah, and number two, this war's been going on for a lot longer than World War II ever did, so...
War's been going for 35 years or something around there.
Yeah.
No, 32, I think. But also, communications are patchy in some of the Outer Rim planets. So fighting might still be going in places.
Right.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
For sure. Nature of war. Yeah, and they talk about the different, the colonies and how some of them just don't even really want to respect the authority of the UNC.
UNSC.
UNSC. Wait, no, that's the military organization, isn't it?
The UEG is the United Earth Government.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
A lot of U acronyms.
Yes. The one that I never remember is Cinfleet, CINC Fleet, right?
Yeah.
The CINC, I can never remember what that stands for. Fleet makes sense. It's Navy, but
Yeah, I have no idea otherwise. But
yeah.
Anyway, just how a lot of them don't want to respect the authority of the Earth government, but we kind of need them.
Yeah.
We need them for stuff, and also there's a specific quote in there that's it's a cold, unforgiving galaxy out there, and if you're not with us, you're against us. So even if you're human, if you don't consider yourselves part of us, we're going to default to considering you an enemy. It's maybe we should reconsider that,
I mean, maybe, but I mean, it makes sense to a degree.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
What do you think about Mal and Vaz and Devereaux, I suppose?
Yeah.
like the characters?
They were okay.
Mm-hmm.
They were the most compelling characters in the book I found.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think about them trying to process the whole like, well, Halsey kidnapped kids and replaced them with clones, but it definitely totally won us the war. It's the only reason we're alive. Like them
Yeah.
having to like balance that morally.
Sure, they say that, but then they're also like, yeah, but she started this way before the Covenant ever showed up.
It's true.
So like this was not about helping to win the Covenant War. This was just
About killing other
doing
humans.
it for military purposes, right?
It was for fighting colonial insurrections. It's for fighting Venezia.
Yeah, it was for murdering other people, other humans. So yeah, I think Vaz at the end almost like straight up murders Halsey.
Mm-hmm. He goes through.
And then BB's like, how about you don't do that? Because BB is the best character in the book. He's great.
Yeah, for sure. I think BB, then Phillips, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Phillips is a lot of fun. Yeah.
Second book
Learns how to
focuses a lot around Phillips. You'll like it then.
Okay. Yeah, he's a ton of fun. Learns how to speak the Sangheili language. He's an anthropologist. He just has no interest in war, conflict, or anything else, or his own personal safety. He just wants to be out there exploring and learning stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's cool.
He's good. I like Phyllis.
Yeah. BB's awesome. The AIs are always cool. Like, I don't know what it is with the AIs in the Halo universe, but like other AIs in science fiction and stuff like this aren't nearly as awesome as like Cortana and BB have been.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like that one on Onyx last time on the last book. Like that guy
Endless
was cool
Summer.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Endless Summer was rad.
Mm-hmm. You know why? It's because they give them personality.
Well, sure, but like I'm thinking of, I guess they give them full personalities, right? There's a lot of times where there's AI that's given a little personality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking the AI bartender in Passengers,
Right.
where you can talk to him, and you can give a little bit of advice here and there, but he's not really a full-fledged
He's he's
personality,
not
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway.
Like he's got just enough personality to bartend, right?
Yes.
Like, but outside
Which is
of
a decent amount,
right? He's what they would consider in Halo to be a dumb AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where
Right.
his life isn't going to run out in 7 years because he's going to think himself to death, and he's got a very high IQ in his field of study. That's about it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other good AI examples that are just notable and stand out, and I just don't. I don't know. Like that's the thing about the Expanse is it's sci-fi. It's not crazy in the future. It's not nearly as far in the future as Halo is, but we've colonized Mars. You know, we've got not faster than light travel, but much faster than we can do faster travel. But there's not anything close to an AI.
Right.
They basically have like Siri technology where you can do voice commands to the computer and they'll do stuff. But there's nothing even remotely close to being self-aware in that one.
Right. Well, actually, the Expanse is set in the 24th century. It's not too far away from Halo.
Oh yeah, where's Halo?
2500, well, 2554. So
Okay,
that's
fair enough. I mean, yeah. I think the Expanse is harder harder or more realistic sci-fi than Halo is. Halo's not as much concerned with physics and stuff.
Right.
Which puts it kind of in a different. It's in a different bracket, I think.
It is and it isn't, right? Like they're like, well, there's some non-physicky, like hard set science things that we want to have, like fast and light travel, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also pays it a good deal of attention when it comes to ship engagements, right? And it's like, oh, these people are taking into account the gravity wells of the planets that they're in, and I don't think they show up a lot in this books, but in the other Halo books, they really take into account, like, oh, this guy's going to launch nukes and hide them in a specific place because he knows they'll drift in a certain way around the planet, and if he can position the Covenant ships there, they'll detonate inside their shields and shit like that. So they do pay it enough credence, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, more so than some other I mean, I'd almost call some of their stuff sci-fi fantasy, where there is just no intent
Mm-hmm.
at paying attention to anything in the real world that way at all.
Right.
So yeah, Halo, it straddles the line. It's closer to the Expanse than, say, Star Wars, where Star Wars doesn't really give a crap,
Yeah.
generally.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, good. It was good.
It's a good book.
It was good, Karen. You're a good author.
Mm-hmm.
You have talent, Miss Karen Travis.
Yeah. Oh, show.
And I was thinking too, like, what a interesting job it is to have the Halo franchise come to you and be like, we need you to write a book for us, but continue this existing storyline with all these characters. So like,
Right.
she has to read all this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she has to figure out who these characters are, what voices they speak with, because there was really nice continuity. There was nothing in this one that I felt like was a jarring difference from the last one. It was the last one, just better written.
There
Which
is.
I think is hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think she does an incredible job given what she had to work with.
Yeah.
But there is a slight difference, and we actually argued about this before we had read Glasslands, which was
Okay.
whether or not the Kurt was taking children, abducting children for the Spartan 3 program. And I said they were, and you said they weren't, because you said that they
Right.
took orphans. And in Ghosts of Onyx, Kurt and Colonel Atkinson have a chat with Big Maggie about getting the outer colonies to gene register their kids. And they're like, oh, we'll bundle it with a vaccination or something. Clearly saying that they don't care if these kids are orphans or not. They just need people who with the right genes to match the augmentation process. But then Glasslands spends like chapters with Mendez and Halsey debating over whose program was less evil because they decided to take orphans. And it's either Mendez didn't know or Karen didn't get the message.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like maybe Mendez didn't know.
Yeah, maybe.
But if that's the case, why are we spending so much time on an argument where one person is coming from a faulty premise, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's weird. Because, yeah, he makes the whole point, like, all that matters is the human spirit and the desire for revenge. And, that's where we got these kids. We asked them who wants to, like,
Who wants to
get back at these aliens, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that said yes, we took those.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't think there was any kind of genetic testing at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks that his program was just as successful as Halsey's, who did do a ton of that stuff. So,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a good question. I wonder if anyone's ever asked her that. Like, hey, did you screw this up?
I mean, maybe, but I don't want to go, like, prying into, like, a book that's 9 years old and be like, you got this one detail wrong 9 years ago. Like,
there's no way we're the first people to ever ask that question.
I mean, probably.
Maybe...
That's another reason why I don't want to do it, because I know we're not the first ones to do it.
Yeah. I want to know. Maybe I'll go looking for a Reddit AMA or some kind of a article somebody interviewed her for or something. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah. Go for it.
Maybe. We'll see. Anyway, in other news, I watched Tenet last night.
Ooh, what'd you think?
Did a socially distanced movie experience for the first time ever. It was good to be back.
Okay.
And so you know how I have my 20-minute rule for the local theater by my house where it's 20 minutes of previews on the nose every time, and so I show up 20 minutes late?
Right.
I was worried they wouldn't have enough trailer content to fill 20 minutes because of the state of the movie industry.
Uh-huh.
So I showed up on time, and it was 20 minutes. I was so bummed.
Well, I think that's better than my experience going back to the movies.
True.
Where I went to go see Star Wars, and they didn't start it for an hour after they said, while they just left us sitting in a dark room with their music playing.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It was a little bit late. Like, they're usually on time with it, but this one was, they started at 5 minutes late, did 20 minutes of previews and commercials, and then started the film.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, yeah, it was very Christopher Nolan. It was a lot of obsession with the concept of time, which is something he spent so much effort putting into his movies ever since the first one, ever since Memento. Well, there's none of it in the Batman movies.
Okay, yeah.
But I think other than that, every film of his has involved time, the concept of time in some way. I can't think of any exceptions. Anyway, so
I'm
this
not familiar
one,
enough with his movies, so.
yeah, that's fair. But like Interstellar, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, even something like Dunkirk, which is just the straight up movie portrayal of an event that happened in World
Well,
War II.
it's not straight up because, like you said, time they cut around
Yeah.
the scenes because
Yes.
sometimes scenes are forward, sometimes they're back. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
So
the way they're
it's
arranged.
everything's happening simultaneously in the air, on the sea, on the ground, but they're happening at different speeds. We spend more different amounts of time with each of those scenes. So yeah, he's playing with time in a way that's not time travel, but he's playing with time even in that one.
Yeah.
So this one, he basically, I mean, I don't want to spoil things.
Spoiler warning for Tenet. If you want to watch Tenet, tune out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes seems fair. So basically, I believe what seems to have happened, he came up with the concept of what if you could move backwards in time, but
While moving forwards.
no, you're moving backwards in time, but you're moving backwards through time. Everything is opposite to you, right?
Right.
So you're walking forwards, everybody else is walking backwards. Okay.
Okay.
So they're experiencing time in the reverse from you. You are in the phrase they use in the movie a lot is they're inverted from you.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the concept. And then he builds an entire 2-hour movie around it. Doesn't really care as much about the writing or the character development as he has in his other movies. So that was a little bit of a struggle. I felt like the acting was a little bit less than in his previous films as well. So overall, I don't know. It was fine. It was the action set pieces were really engaging visually. The audio was amazing. He does stuff with the music where he's playing it backwards sometimes because of this concept of inverted time, right?
Okay.
So that was a little disconcerting, but kind of cool at the same time. And then he has his characters say a lot. What happened, right? So they're trying to explain that even though we're doing this inverted time stuff, the timeline is secure. We're not screwing with anything. What happened, which is bullcrap because they're going back in time and changing stuff. But he still has the characters say this thing like he's trying to convince the audience, like, if you see a paradox here, no, what happened. No, Christopher Nolan, that's not what's happening. You're screwing up the timeline.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's been my big problem with time travel for years and years now is you go back in time to change something that removes your impetus to change the thing in the first place and your story's crap. So there's a lot of that. And if you want to tell me it's multiverse and you're changing things and that creates a new version of the world on a different timeline, cool. I can roll with that. But don't tell me it's the same timeline and you're going back and changing stuff in the existing timeline in that way. It doesn't make any sense.
Did they get into the whole it's timelines, or did they just like
no?
They were
No.
It's not a paradox. Wink.
It's not a paradox because we insist it's not a paradox.
Fair enough.
So it's fine. As per usual in Christopher Nolan movies, there are a lot of moments where characters are saying things, and either they have a mask on, and so it's hard to understand what they're saying, or they're just kind of mumbling, or they have an accent and they're mumbling, and there's a lot of music at the same time. So I want to say I probably missed about 15% of the dialogue in this film altogether. And that's just kind of a Christopher Nolan staple. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he has no priority over making dialogue audible and understandable. But that's been a problem in Interstellar. It was a problem in Dark Knight Rises. It was something of a problem in Inception. Yeah, Bane was a huge deal. Copenhagen says, which time travel movie doesn't break rules of time travel? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
I'll take you. Yeah, maybe.
Explain further, Copenhagen does. Anyway, what were you saying?
No, I'm just glad you enjoyed the movie despite the time travel.
Yeah, it got to the point where I was like, look, it's paradox stuff. You're trying to convince me it's not. I'm going to roll with it. So I decided to roll with it for the last, 40% of the film, and it was fine.
Right, because yesterday we were talking, and I was like, "Oh, you're gonna go see Tenet? Cool." And I'm like, I know that it's got time travel in it. That it's all this
Yeah.
inversion stuff, and I'm like, I don't think he's
Yep.
gonna like this movie.
Have fun storming the castle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's Nolan. Like his craft, his ability to make visually interesting, good paced movies is it's still there. There's nothing different about this than anything else. So on that level, no complaints whatsoever.
Fair enough.
So it was good. I don't know. I wish he'd get off the time travel obsession. I really do. It just his Batman movies are so good, and none of it has anything to do with time travel. Batman Begins and Dark Knight are really good. Dark Knight Rises is.
Are they though?
You don't like Dark Knight? Oh yeah, we've talked about this.
Like, I think they're fine, but I don't think they're incredible masterpieces of filmmaking.
How do you feel about Inception?
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
Like, I think it's got an interesting concept that I hadn't seen before at the time, but you know, it's not incredible. It doesn't make me like go, "Oh my god, that's going to change the way I think about my perception of time." It's not happening.
Well, Inception wasn't about time. It kind of was.
Like it certainly involved time, but it's not going to change my perception on ideas and how they like get implanted in me by other people, whether intentional or not.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more time dilation. The key, exactly. It's the concept to you, time is moving at one speed, but to everybody else, it's moving at a different speed.
Which comes back to Halo, because the Dyson Sphere was moving at different speeds. The Forerunners could totally just control perceptions of time, the time dilation.
Time dilation there too. Okay, so engineers.
Hergox.
This was my first introduction to Hergoths.
Okay. Have you not played any of the games with them?
Are they in the games? Yeah.
Yeah. They're totally in like Halo Reach, Halo 3 ODST. I don't remember them appearing in Halo 3 specifically.
Because in the books, they're like, the engineers are actually peaceful Forerunner creatures, but the Covenant would strap bombs on them and send them at us.
No.
Like, I don't remember this at all.
Okay, so they're definitely in ODST and Halo Reach, but they didn't strap bombs on them and then send them at us. They put bombs on them to prevent us from capturing them because they were so good with technology, right? It's like, we need these things deployed in the field to maintain our equipment, but we can't ever let them get captured because one can make another, and then two can make six, and then all of a sudden humans have energy shielding on their ships.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Also, they're magic, man. They take Lucy's like, here's my helmet, and they're like, we have implemented 2 entirely new features into your helmet using, I don't know, our tentacles, I guess.
Technically,
like, what the crap?
Technically, they use
Magic!
the equipment. Yes, it's magic, but they use the equipment they have. They didn't give it like brand new features. It's not like they took a helmet and suddenly it had a cannon on it, right?
And now it has infrared vision where it didn't before.
Right. I mean, it probably already did. But
Right.
it took like the microphone and its speakers, so it just tweaked its comms array essentially because they couldn't work out why she couldn't speak. So it's all stuff to do with hearing and voice. It wasn't like, oh, and now it has a coffee machine, right? Like,
but I mean, like all of a sudden there's 2 new icons in her HUD, right?
It messes with the software, yeah.
Yeah, somehow with tentacles. I don't know. Like it disassembles her helmet and reassembles it in like 10 seconds. Like it's just they're like, we need magical technology creatures that do whatever we want.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's them.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing them in Reach. So
They're definitely in there.
okay. I'll have to go back and look at some gameplay footage, and maybe I'm just not remembering what they look like. I did when they showed up in the book. I was like, "Hold on, what's this?" And I went and I googled it to see what they looked like, and I was like,
"You definitely don't remember them."
No, not at all. Go figure.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, Tenet was good. The movie theater was good. I don't think I caught COVID. They did this big whole thing before the film where they're like, "Welcome back to the Cinemark. We have a person on site at every movie theater whose job is like cleanliness and safety. That's all they do. After every showing, we spray the whole thing down with a crazy amount of disinfectant, and we clean the bathrooms every 30 minutes, and like all this crazy stuff. And I was like, all right, I feel moderately safe here. That's cool.
Did you wear a mask?
Yeah,
Good.
That was the other thing. They required patrons to wear masks, so I did that.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And you could only buy seats that were separated from other seats by like 4 seats.
Oh,
and these are
really?
the lounges. So, yeah, the next closest person to me was probably like 10 feet away. So it was good.
Fair enough.
Maybe more than that. Also, the snacks were cheaper.
Really?
Like, I always get the same thing, and it's always $20. And I'm always like, this is a ridiculous ripoff, but whatever.
Right.
And it was $11 this time. And I was like, I didn't even look at the prices. What is happening?
What do you
They're
normally
like,
get?
please come back to the theater. A large popcorn, a large drink, and like usually like a cherry. What do they call them? Like rope candy kind of
Twizzlers?
thing. No.
Good, because we don't have those here. I wouldn't have understood.
Sweet tarts, soft and chewy ropes.
Definitely don't understand.
They're delicious. I like them a lot. Here, I'll put into the Discords.
No, I found a picture. It's fine.
Oh, good. Well done.
That's actually the exact picture I found.
I know. It's
okay.
I mean, if you search candy rope, I think they're the only people that really use, or the first people that come up when you search that name anyway. And those, okay, so it usually $20 friggin' US because movie theaters are a total ripoff. But I don't go to a ton of movies, so I was like, whatever. But yeah, $11 this time.
No, that's
yeah, nerds ropes.
Yeah,
right.
That's you say candy rope. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's funny because I made my order and then she's like, all right, here's your total. I'll go make your popcorn. And I looked and it was $11. I was like, did she mishear me? Did she forget something? And I looked up at I actually, for the first time, looked up at the above to see how much stuff was. And I was like, they half the prices for everything. It was nuts.
When I went to the theater, the prices for everything were not halved.
Oh, were they all the exact same?
They were all pretty much, they might have gone up. Cheeky bastards.
I'm honestly fairly impressed the Cinemarks are alive because they were dead in the water for about 6 months. And I mean, you must have had one hell of a war chest for a rainy day if you can afford to not have any income for 6 months for your business.
Right, especially one that's dependent on advertising as well. Right?
Yeah, well, and especially one too that you've got real estate. Theaters are big, man. You're paying a lot for that land. You're probably leasing the building. Yeah, and for them just to eat that for 6 months is like, you guys were gouging us hard for years, weren't you? And yes, they were. Absolutely. But I mean, I don't know if it means the movie theaters didn't die. Maybe I'm okay with it. I don't know. I need to think about this more.
Who knows? Either that or they just took out some serious loans and there's a price hike coming soon.
Ooh, yeah. Somebody I was talking to said maybe there was a government bailout for the movie theater industry.
I mean, maybe.
Hey, Copenhagen Das with the sub.
Hey, thank you, Copenhagen Das.
Nice. But then I was like, I don't know. Like every government bailout that ever happens, there's a ton of news around it because like the right wing hates that kind of thing and they'll like publicize it to the moon.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I don't think that happened. I would have definitely heard about it by now. But maybe private loans. Maybe they did. Maybe they went to some loan sharks and were like, we need $300 million to not collapse as a company. And they're like, you got it. 27% interest compounded daily.
Man, I was just really annoyed yesterday because I looked at my bank accounts and it was like, you earned 35 cents in interest this month. I'm like, like, this is awful. Like, banks need to make banking more like games so people are excited to save money because like I'm struggling here. If you just like give me a little fanfare, you don't have to give me a lot of money. Just like 35 cents though. It's no wonder people can't save money. Banks don't make it fun.
Right. Well, interest rates are a double-edged sword, right? Because they apply to consumer borrowing as well as consumer lending. So, you know, when my parents were buying a house, interest rates were 16%. Your savings account was killing it, but buying a house was a nightmare.
Right.
So I don't know. I'd rather have a low interest rate on my home than have an incredible interest rate in my bank account.
Right now, I'm not asking for an incredible interest rate. I'm just feeling like the only good thing to look forward to within a savings account is the long term savings, right? Like eventually you get to spend that money or you leave it to someone else.
Yeah.
And each month seeing how much interest you earned on it. Other than that, there's nothing, and the interest is shit. Like,
Yes.
just if I don't care what it is, give me a gold star if I manage to input money into my savings account without touching it for a month. Give me a combo meter of gold stars to make it fun.
A what? A
Like
combo meal of gold stars?
combo meter. So if I do it 2 months in a row, I have 2 gold stars. But if I lose on the third, I lose the combo.
What do you do with the gold stars? You don't
Nothing.
even care if they mean anything.
No,
You just want gold stars.
They don't mean anything. No, they're just
They can send you emails with like a picture of a cat. They're like, "Well done."
I mean, sure, like I did briefly consider why not reach out to like Fortnite and offer V-Bucks as a reward for doing this, right?
Ooh,
Like
yeah.
they could very easily tie it into things that people give a shit about and actually get people to save money.
They cross promote with everybody else. Might as well cross promote with a banking system, I guess.
Might as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting idea. Because, yeah, I mean, every study I've ever seen about, especially Americans' banking savings habits is most Americans have negative savings, which, good job, everyone. Way to nail that.
Yeah. I don't think it's
yeah.
much better here. The only
No.
the only time I've ever been able to save money was after I renamed my account to my high score, like my financial high score, and then as long as I keep putting money in it, I think my high score is going up, and I don't touch it. Right? I had to gamify it to trick myself to save money because I know it's good for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So did that stop working? You said the
No,
only time you've been able to save money.
Yeah, that's now. Yeah.
Oh, that's current.
It's been about a year.
Gamified. I like it.
Yeah.
They should, yeah, banks should do that more. They should totally like give you an avatar based on your bank account. And the more money's in there, like the better the gear is. Stuff like that. You can customize it. You can buy cosmetics for your avatar if you have more cash.
I mean,
dude, I kind of like this idea.
That feels like a way to spend money at the bank.
No. I'm not saying it costs you real money, but the more money you have in the bank, the more virtual currency you have, you can use to customize your avatar, right?
Yeah, okay, I like that like initially, but I feel like people are going to want to show each other's avatars to people, and next thing you know, they're basically like, oh, I see you have the gold hat. That must mean you have at least 5,000 in savings, right? And suddenly people are going to like work out how much money you've got and be like, well, if we just find out which avatars have the nicest shit, we know which accounts to look into. Like,
sure, but
I don't want any public way.
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think it is either, but I don't want any public way of people knowing how much money I might have, because an avatar is something people show each other.
It's a good point. I mean, some people just take a lot of pride in just they're the only ones who ever see it.
Right, which is like gold stars.
Yeah. For some people, but you're right. Other people definitely would be interested in showing it to their friends and posting it on Twitter and stuff.
Which is why I'm more about consistency rewards rather than actual monetary value rewards, right? Like,
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I support your plan. Let's get that implemented now. And
banks, I want 10%, right?
Yep. Right.
Per month.
10% of all the money that people save.
Yeah, all the additional increase in savings. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, key. It's either 35 combo stars doesn't mean a lot of money. It
doesn't
just
mean
means
money.
maybe you're putting in $1 every month.
Yeah,
like,
as long as you're not pulling money out or like whatever conditions it is, it doesn't matter the total, right? Just the consistency of it. As long as you're consistently saving, right? Because I don't know. I would have my avatar and he's like, in a nice jacket or whatever and a hat, and then I'd see freaking Elon Musk avatar and it's Smaug, right? That would be disheartening.
Yes, it sure would. All right, so we've solved that problem. Well done, us.
I've solved the banking issue. Yep.
We certainly have. So we got about 10 minutes left. Should we do some GSL chat? We usually like to do that.
Sure. Has anything happened?
No, well, the last round happened since the last pod, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is in 7 hours from now, which is not
Ooh.
helpful, but
Yeah, neither of us are watching that. No.
heck no, bad time.
Yeah.
So Group A was Solar, Trap, Spear, and Special,
Mhm.
and I believe we predicted Solar and Trap getting out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember saying that anyway because I didn't have a lot of faith in Special, unfortunately.
I'm going to assume that's what I said, so I can sound like I was right.
Yeah, smart.
Yep.
Support this plan.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Solar looked good. 2-1 Special, 2-1 Trap made it out without too much trouble there. Spear 2-0 Special, which young Korean Terran Spear, first time in GSL,
Mm-hmm.
2-0 Special looked kind of amazing doing it.
Yeah.
And then had Trap on the ropes in game 1 of their match, and then just kind of fell apart all over the place and spilled his cafeteria tray on the floor and was embarrassed. It was sad.
He got nervous. It's fine. It happens to everyone. 1 in 3, I hear.
He did.
But
It was his first GSL. I get it.
and like I think he did very well for his first GSL, even not getting
Totally.
out. I think his
Knocking
results
out Special is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
I hope to see him next season. I hope to see
Yeah,
him
me too.
do more.
I think more Spear would be a lot of fun. I have more interest in him now than I did when this thing started, for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So Trap and Solar moving out. What's going to happen in about 7 hours here is Dark Creator, Tasia, and Zest, which is a brutal group.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, brutal. Did we even come to a consensus on this one? Did we just say Dark and Zest?
I don't remember. I think so.
I think we did.
I think you went with Tasia because you wanted to believe.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
if only one of us had been here for the podcast last week, we could remember this.
I know, right? Copenhagen us. You listen to all these things.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Who did we predict?
No, but yeah, that's a tough round 1 group. I don't know. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if anybody made it out. Tasia's playing well. Dark isn't exactly a shoo-in for everything at this point. I mean, getting out of the group stages, it is probably a shoo-in for Dark to make it out. So
I think the only person who's like not who I wouldn't put money on is Creator. Right? I'm confident Dark, Tasia, and Zest can probably get out of this. I'm not confident Creator can. I think I said that last week as well. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, Creator. His picture on Wikipedia, he's wearing like cat ears.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned that last.
So yeah, it's still there. Good job, Creator. Still makes me laugh.
Not only is it cat ears, but it has a tiny little sprout popping out the top of it. Popping out the top of it, yeah.
Like a lima bean sprout or something coming up there.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. In other news,
hey, hold on.
The other
team, look at his player information. You see his picture, and then above his links, what's the first thing like above the links on his player page?
Hold on, I'm going back.
So you've got his picture. Scroll down, and it's like EPT career rank, circuit rank,
military service pending.
Yeah.
Have they added military service?
Maybe. And now we need to look at other players.
We do.
And check.
Did they hear us? Oh my gosh. Tasia has a military service
and it's
fulfilled tag.
Zest pending. Ooh, interesting. This changes everything.
This is a direct result on us complaining about it. It is.
Yep.
Can't be anything else.
It's true.
Dude, Bomber has military service fulfilled now.
Trap still waiting. Spear does not have it.
Dongray Gu says fulfilled. Oh, gosh. They heard us. Who did this?
I don't know.
Super great shout out to whoever went through and did that. Because I mean, it's a pedia. Anyone could do it.
Someone did.
That's amazing. That's so wow. Good spot.
Thank you. Beyond's one says ending 2009, like 2020-09 question mark because it's ending. Parting's one should say soon TM. That would be great. Just as pending.
Oh, we can look and see who did those edits. Aki, you're so right.
Oh yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. We can figure out how to use pedias.
Yeah, it's
Let's
true.
see. Edit history. Search for military doesn't do anything.
Mm.
I don't know how to pedia.
That
The
is
most.
the...
Okay. So there's the most recent change here by HJP Alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so older revision. Okay, so it can go back through the revisions here
Mm-hmm.
and see when it was added and by
This page
who.
was last edited on the 28th of August. But that doesn't
Oh,
say...
oh, here it is. I found it.
Okay.
So it was a revision that happened on the 24th of August for creators page by HJP Alpha.
Okay.
He added the military service. It was him.
Excellent.
Is he the one? Oh, that's right. Cope called it. Cope's like the biggest editor of Wikipedia is a big Laughing Games fan.
Oh, yeah?
So he might have heard it just ancillarily through the podcast and then started working on it.
Excellent.
He's a German StarCraft 2 fan.
Well done, sir.
Well done indeed.
I would like to buy you a beer.
I know. Where can we subscribe to your newsletter?
Yeah, for sure.
What a cool guy.
Hmm.
I definitely want to see if I can like tweet at him or something because that's fantastic work.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy because like I've been trying to find information about military service for players and it's just not out there.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he has access to something that we don't, but
Maybe he's just adding it, and then if information comes up, people can add it to people's accounts.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not like he has an actual list of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Should have been there years ago, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm. True facts.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll take it now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's see what do we got here. A little bit of time. I'm not sure it's quite time for the sports minute, actually. Oh, I was going to talk about StarCraft 2. What's the current tournament that's going on?
DreamHack.
Thank you. The DreamHack Falls.
Yeah, DreamHack. I just googled DreamHack to like pull up the bracket, and it just says cancelled. Like, Google's result is DreamHack Winter 2020 cancelled.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's funny though.
Yeah. The
So
ESL Pro Tour. Do you need a link
already? No, I got there.
Okay.
Okay, so we're doing the EU right now.
We're doing both. They did Europe and North America today. I watched some.
Oh wow!
I watched a lot of games today.
That's a ton of work. Yeah. All right. So anything notable happened here? Cyril went 4-0. Raynor went 4-0. Clem went, or rather, 3-0. Elaser 3-0. Hero Marine 3-0. Yeah, none of this is too surprising.
Yeah, no. There was something.
I don't see anything too surprising in the EU groups at all. Like, not a single thing.
Right. I don't think there's anything too surprising. There was some interesting games between, I think it was Haas and Blig or Figo.
Yeah. Which in and of itself is not surprising. They had interesting games.
Yeah. I watched Braddock versus Cyril today.
Uh-huh. And Cyril just stomp him.
Kind of. Braddock tried to do a Thor drop in the first game.
Uh-huh.
Got absolutely nothing done with it. And then the second game, he's like, I know what the problem was. I need to drop 2 Thors this time. Still got nothing done with it.
Oh, Braddock. Actually, they're not done with this. I thought they were finished.
No. Still going.
They've got September 3rd and September 4th and 5th and 6th. They have games going. Holy crap. It's a lot of group stage.
There's a lot to do. Yeah.
All right. So North America results, anything intriguing whatsoever. Neeb and Canning, great. Estrella and Nina. Yep. That sounds about right. Yeah. We love our Protoss in North America, that's for sure.
It's true.
My goodness, that's 4 Protoss.
Yeah.
North America. All of them winners so far anyway. It's not over yet. Scarlet hasn't played yet. Let's go Scarlet. Represent Zergs in North America, please.
All right.
Stop playing Brood War so much.
Yep.
So good. Good DreamHack stuff happening. A lot of StarCraft. It's good to be following a sport that's not dependent on any of this COVID stuff, right?
Oh, for sure.
To a certain extent. Like, obviously, they don't have huge crowds of people watching live, but the events are going on without much trouble whatsoever. So that's great.
Yeah.
So, Sports Ball Minute. This is where you can just leave the room if you want. We can watch you do that now because that's awesome.
How would I know to come back?
I'll yell really loud, and you can hear me through your headphones on your desk.
Okay.
All right, deal. All right, Sports Ball Minute has begun. The NBA playoffs are continuing, and they are fantastic. So far, the Lakers and the Clippers, the Bucks, the Heat, the Celtics, and the Raptors have made it into the semifinal, or into the quarterfinals here. So far, so good. Houston and OKC are going to go to a Game 7. Denver and Utah are playing Game 7 right now. It's a very close, very intense game. I kind of want to wrap up the podcast and watch that one because if two very evenly matched games, teams, both with injury issues, and we'll see who comes out on top today for the right to play the Clippers, who are looking pretty scary, nevertheless, waiting for them in the next round. I'm trying to decide who I want to... I guess I want to see Houston go up against the Lakers. I think they can give them the biggest amount of trouble, and I hate the Lakers. If they end up losing before the finals, I'll be very pleased. Miami took a game off of Milwaukee. Jimmy Butler was fantastic in that match. Boston's up 2-0 on Toronto, which is a little surprising. Toronto's been feisty all year. I mean, they've really looked good. They do good team basketball. They've got a lot of good scorers. They play defense very excellently, but they're more of a transition team. And Boston's one of the better teams at stopping transition from their opponents. And so that's kind of come an unstoppable force meets a movable object, right? And so far, Boston's looked on top there. So the West, a bloodbath as usual. I'd be surprised if Miami came out over Milwaukee. And if it does, it's going to make me question Giannis's credentials as being the MVP of the league. If you get knocked out in the second round in the East by Miami, like, I don't know if Giannis can be considered at the level that he is today. But regardless, should be good. And yeah, that's it for the Sports Ball Minute. Glad the NBA is here. College football is going to be happening in a week or so, which is nuts. We'll see if that turns into a disaster or not. But very excited for the NBA to continue, and we are done. Sports Minute out.
Okay.
You're back?
I'm back, yeah.
Wonderful.
No.
How's your energy drink?
It's a bottle of water.
Oh, I caught a glimpse of it. It looked energy drinkish.
It is a D&D labeled. I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
Just water.
Very cool. Oh, I do want to talk about one thing real quick before we go.
Is it sports?
No.
Good.
So I had an experiment to throw up a Brood War and StarCraft 2 cast that's 2.5 hours long on my YouTube channel.
I saw that. Yeah. I do not approve of the thumbnail.
It is a massive failure in every possible way. It has fewer views, fewer impressions in the click-through rate. And it's the 10th out of 10th ranked video that I have posted out of the last 10 videos.
Oh.
It is horrendously received by my people. So lesson learned, don't mix the Brood War and StarCraft 2 groups. They will both hate the resulting abomination. And both ignore it entirely. If I had just posted the fastest map, there's a fastest map Brood War game in there. If I just posted that, it would have done fine. For some reason, because it's part of a huge thing. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to split it out and make it its own cast for sure.
Okay.
Because nobody's watching this thing.
Right. I guarantee you the Brood War people clicked on it. It was like, oh, it's StarCraft 2 first. All right, never mind.
But I say, if you're here for the Brood War, it's here. There's a timestamp. I put a link in the description. I pinned a comment.
You know
I
as
tried.
well as I do, people do not read.
But the name of the video is StarCraft Brood War.
They would have to read that.
And I categorized it as a Brood War video because YouTube doesn't let you choose two different games to be put in your category there.
Well,
anyway.
Now you know.
Learn my lesson. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Compassion. I had a lot of fun casting it. So yeah, RJB deserves more than for his video to be slammed into a bunch of stuff that's not getting any views. So
fair enough.
We'll fix it. That's all. That's all I wanted to talk about today.
Okay. So I think we're done.
I think we're done.
Okay.
Maybe we'll stream some stuff after this. Yo.
Yeah. So I'm gonna quickly gonna raid someone, and then we'll be back in like 15 minutes after food, maybe.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Cool.
All right. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening to the Falcon Paladin Hour. Check out the merch. Check out the Patreon page for the podcast. Link in the show notes. Maybe links here too. Until next time, as always, go say hey to Maynard for us. Come back if you want to watch us play. And stay safe, stay healthy. Above all, please take care of yourselves. Goodbye. Bye.
And raid away.
Nice. What is this?
Do
Ultra Nightmare?
Yeah, he's doing a 100% speed run on the hardest difficulty, where if you die, you go back to the start of the game.
Why is he an alien? What is going on?
There's a section of Doom where you take control of the Doom